Your alternative talk radio contact. The Planet. KGRAradio.com.
With infinite complacency, people went to and fro the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Into the Fray. I'm here with the STM crew, Seth, Zach. Jason is downstairs at the moment, still resting. I have Adam here and Alexander Petikoff, and we are sitting here in the middle of nearly nowhere in New Hampshire. I apologize for my voice. Seth got everyone sick, so it's been very...
Oh, right under the bus.
Very positive.
Right at the front of the show.
Aspect of everything. But I sound much better today, so we decided to record a little bit for you guys. We didn't do this on the last trip for On the Trail of West, so I thought we'd sit down for the East Side trip.
It's hard to find time
Yeah.
to like sit down.
Yeah.
Like
we could have done it last night.
We could have done it last night.
What happened last night, though?
Yeah, but like when you get you get downtime, it's hard to want to sit down and discuss anything remotely like paranormal.
Because we've already been doing it all
day because your whole day is
right?
focused on it.
Well, especially after downing like ridiculous amount of Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
You kind of just want to veg out and just chill out.
We were so happy last night. Fat and happy.
We've dealt with that on mostly all of our shoots where we were 14-hour days and then we have people that just want to continue talking about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
We kind of want to clear our heads.
The worst is like when you have... I always go back to Boggy where we had like a convoy of people with us. And like you would go back to the hotel at night and some random like person that was part of the convoy would sit down and like want to talk to you about their Bigfoot evidence. And you're like... Please go away.
Show you like 600 photos in their album.
Yeah.
And you're going, if I see one more photo in your phone, I'm going to flip out.
Yeah.
Has anything on the shoot, especially you, Seth, because you're the one organizing everything and...
Alex helped with this part of the trip.
And yeah. Has anything been surprising as far as who we've talked to or the way things worked out or... I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I thought New York City was going to be a cluster because of the travel time between the Chestnut Ridge and getting into New York. And I thought by the time we got there, and then also like you guys were like Adam and you were talking about, or someone else, Adam and someone was talking about how the travel time just to get in the city was going to take us like 3 hours and all this stuff. And I was like, well, crap, because like I had gotten us we stayed in Union City, New Jersey, which is like, you can see Manhattan skyline across the river, but like, I have heard that transit, like public transit into the city is a nightmare. So I was convinced that it was going to run us like 3 hours, and then we had to cancel Peter's interview, or he couldn't do what we ended up doing, and we switched the interview location on Ryan Sprague, and he had to make the trek to Union City to be with us. That ended up being probably...
He saved us.
Yeah, that probably ended up being my favorite day so far. Yeah. Because, no offense, Alex. Because, like, Ryan traveled to us. We got a really fun interview. And then we made it into Times Square in, like, 23 minutes. Like, I don't even...
Ryan actually, without him, I think we would have been lost. And then he basically showed us where to go. And I mean, he took us through Times Square.
Yeah.
Made sure that we got to areas in Times Square that
got a good dinner.
That we could actually shoot stuff. Like, I mean...
Meals are the most important part.
Meals are.
Yeah, it is.
Food is the most...
What was the name of that place?
Uncle
Joe's or...
Uncle...
Wasn't it a Z, like Uncle Zio's or Zeno's? That sounds like real names. You know.
Sounds legit.
What was it?
Oh my God. Let's take up like 20 minutes
Ryan,
of time trying to remember.
Let's just keep going.
People are yelling at their phones. What worried me the most about that was, well, besides me thinking that we were going from Goshen, or Ryan was going to Goshen from New York, and it was like 3 hours, is that once I edited and fixed where we were going to be, and we were kind of going, hey, can you come out to us? And he's like, yeah, sure, let me look things up. And he goes, oh, this has proven to be more difficult than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just hold on. I was like, holy smokes. And he's from New York.
Yeah.
So I was kind of going, we would have been
Didn't he
really,
tell
truly
us
screwed.
he,
Like Zach
he
said.
made it in like a very
Yeah,
short
unless he
period
was
of
just
time?
being, not trying to make us feel bad and it was a nightmare for him.
Yeah.
He said it was pretty easy. But
Mario.
Uncle Mario.
Uncle Mario's. With the angry... No, she wasn't angry. She's
not
very
angry,
Italian.
She's just Italian.
Very forward server.
Zach was in love with her.
She was great.
I think she loved you too.
Thought to marry her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She gave us free stuff too. I think she gave us the breadsticks free.
Yeah.
The garlic bread.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was great.
I was drinking.
The other part of that surprised me, I guess, would be like that where we are now. I just didn't like the White Mountains, and I've watched Alex's short films that have been shot in this area, and I follow him on Instagram, and he's always posting pictures of it. But I don't think any of that prepares you for how expansive it is, because it really, like, I'm used to the Adirondacks are like, gorgeous and picturesque and all that stuff, but I was telling you on the drive in, like the Adirondacks, you feel like very claustrophobic in there. Like, it just, no matter where you look, there's like a mountain right here, like a hill, and you can never really see how big it is. And in here, it's almost like a mini Pacific Northwest kind of vibe. Like, it just goes. And then, like, being able to see mountains in the distance at the height they're at is not an East Coast thing at all. Like, I'm used to, like the Adirondacks or even the Smokies. Like, they're not touching the sky.
Right.
They look like huge hills, but this is like this reminds me of the PNW.
What was the acreage on this? It was
like
600 or 700.
700 or something, yeah.
Acres, something.
And it's smaller than the Adirondacks, because the Adirondacks is as big as like
It's
if
like a
you
million
took-
acres.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think the whites are basically, it's like a fourth of the whole state of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
It touches into Maine a little bit, but yeah, it's like the most rugged terrain on the East Coast. I mean, having hiked both here and the Smokies are nice. There's some great views, but up here, especially the ridge that we're going to be checking out today, you'll see the view. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's considered one of the best hikes on the East Coast. This ridge just across right where this Betty and Barney Hill incident took place. So,
Cool.
and what's different with the Adirondacks too is it's a lot more remote. There's not as many roads through it. Whereas here, the road goes right through the mountain pass. So you're right on either side. You have things going on. So.
Well, and we're super excited about the UFO subject, of course, but all of us are fighting our cryptid instincts while we're in these rugged, beautiful mountains with all these trees around. So
It doesn't. Yeah,
Friend,
the location would have been like when we hit Bigfoot again as a subject for On the Trail of, this is going to have to be a location. And I have ideas on how I want to do another season of On the Trail of Bigfoot, where each episode would be just almost like the Area X episode, where you're just basically stationed in one location. So like White Mountains, Adirondacks,
Sure.
like out in the PNW, you'd want to hit like Sierras, stuff like that. Like each episode is just us talking, like taking some researchers out and spending time with them in like one location and learning about the area, learning about the history of the area, but also doing like night ops and that kind of stuff too.
that is like word for word what he and I said yesterday. But we
Yeah.
were hoping for it for a round two.
Yeah.
I don't. It's
Awesome.
The problem is it's not unless there's like a huge influx of cash. The On the Trail of is going to have to be like a once a year thing until.
Mhm.
So like that.
What would you name it?
On the Trail of
Bigfoot 2?
Sasquatch.
On the Trail of Sasquatch.
Oh.
No, I don't know. Like you'd probably call it On the Trail of Bigfoot too.
Yeah.
Like, and then you'd go.
Redux.
Dude.
But we'd be looking at 20. I mean, because we already know what we want to do for season 3, and so that as soon as you do would be season 4, and I kind of have an idea of what we want to do there. So we want to do Ghosts, and we want to do Dogman.
Yeah.
Still, So you're looking at like 2022.
Getting into the 2020s.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people email or message and go, "When are you guys doing Dogman? When is Dogman?"
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a similar thing to Bigfoot a little bit, like as far as terrain and territory and stuff. But
Yeah,
it'll open you up to some different locations.
I think
too,
it's to me it's more Midwest.
yeah.
But it'll get into. I would definitely want to get into some of that occult stuff that we explored in Bray Road.
Bray Road,
There's going to be a lot of cemeteries involved with that, too.
Yeah, because there's a lot of supernatural elements to that, regardless of the people who really want to force feed you the idea that this is like some undiscovered species of our gray walking dog. Sorry, listeners.
Wolfman.
Yes, Wolfman.
Wolfman.
Oh, you're getting angry comments on
There's
that.
going to be a lot.
Yeah.
On the trail of bear with mange.
What was that bear, like Daisy or
Wait,
Dixie, or that she
whatever-
could walk
on the
a great
Oh,
distance
the one in
on her
Jersey.
hind
Yeah,
legs?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like somebody killed it.
on the trip. Oh man,
We're all sick, too.
we're all sick.
We're all getting sick.
Oh, I already threw him under the bus when you were,
No, I want to do. I think next we want to do On the Trail of Ghosts, but I want to do a different tactic. I mean, I want to approach it in the same way we're doing this or On the Trail of Bigfoot,
Yeah.
which I just don't see that stuff in ghosts, in haunting. Like,
Do you like the word ghost? I mean,
Entertainment.
are you gonna or
I thought about going On the Trail of Hauntings or On the Trail of Supernatural.
I'm really excited about that. That's where I got into all of this stuff, was there. And I think there's a lot of...
Well, I just think there's nothing. It's all the other supernatural entertainment it's all 3 or 4 guys running through a house with night vision. That's all it is.
I'll do it.
You're gonna run through Zach's.
I mean, that can be fun, but you're right. It's like we're inundated with that. I find, because I'm not really interested in the ghost subject.
Neither am I.
Hear like lectures about like one of these mountains just up the road. There's a story that supposedly it's haunted because a family was living there and they got killed in an avalanche.
Yeah.
Like I like hearing about those
That's
local
the
stories. Like I'm not necessarily going to go up on the mountain and be like poking around seeing if there's ghosts, but talking to people who know about these local stories, I think is more interesting than just
And
the running
interviewing
around.
people who go out and do this. You know, like, and I think that's been a part of the series, whether we've noticed it or not, is like the people that we're interviewing are not your typical like para-celebs, especially for this one.
yeah.
And I think On the Trail of Bigfoot too had that. Like a lot of those people have never been on camera before.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it. So we're not going to be. I don't really intend on like going out and interviewing the people that are on TV. It's not like Grant Wilson's going to show up and.
No, it won't be recycled anything.
That's not a
In this
slight
case,
against.
No, it's
just-
not.
So I think you know those people,
Yeah,
their thoughts
you
on the
already know
subject.
their
They're
opinions.
so out there.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what's so appealing about the On the Trail of is you're talking to people who really don't have that exposure and really like the local stories, whereas maybe you've heard the same theory 100 times on TV. That's
With the
nothing
same
new.
people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like your crew for On the Trail of Champ, like especially the
mean
witnesses.
me?
Well, no, I mean the people you interviewed.
Yeah.
Like those people hadn't been on camera really.
That's what amazed me. Like some of the people I talked to, they had never told their story on camera. They barely had told their story to people in general, which I thought was really cool. And it's kind of, I find it's cool to bring those stories forward because people don't know about it and adds a little bit to the mystery. So,
I mean, how many times can you hear somebody talk about Waverly Hills Sanatorium? Like everybody knows the story, or
Salem or something.
Salem or
Yeah.
whatever. But how many other like places can you explore and people can you talk to? I mean, everybody knows somebody who's had some sort of weird paranormal experience. I think it just opens up. I mean, like that not that it would be like a 20 episode thing, but it could be. I mean, there's enough information out there, or there's enough people to talk to that haven't gotten exposure to.
I still think my favorite part of this is just going back to the roots of SDM and something like Boggy, where it was like
No lighting setup.
Yeah, you just
run
set
and gun
the
and go.
camera
Yeah.
up and you're exploring like new locations and stuff. But bringing in the more like investigative filmmaking style, where you've got the night vision cameras and like stuff like that, but doing it from a personal place too is the other thing. Like those shows don't investigative shows are fine. Like we talked about how much we both like UFO hunters, but like you're not seeing it from those people's perspective. It's all like through some production companies, the way they're slanting the show, and there's no we had no misgivings going into this that we were going to go out to these locations and find a UFO. Like maybe we'll still capture. So I never expected to find anything shooting on the trail of Bigfoot, and we had stuff happen to us twice while we were filming. I mean, really, if you count everything that happened in X as one time,
right.
and then in Adams County with the audio we collected, like I never expected to have that stuff happen. So like, but to come at it and actually show it from like your perspective for this, where you're basically stating like we are aware of the absurdity of thinking you're going to go to a location where there have been known sightings and finding something. Like that is a big part of being an investigator too. Like you talk to these people, they spend hours and hours and days, nights, like just sitting in places with nothing ever happening.
Yeah.
Or like you have John Green and Renee and those guys who never had a sighting, period. Yeah.
Their whole life they go without it. Yeah. And which is more elusive. You know, I guess it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this as far as the idea behind on the trail UFOs. And, you know, you kind of saying nobody looks up anymore. It's more about the personalities and the politics behind it. No one's just like, there's cool shit flying around in the sky that people are seeing. They cannot.
Yeah.
They can't explain it.
Yeah, that was something. So it's kind of weird because so many aspects of the look at him tiptoeing up the steps.
Jason.
So many aspects of the phenomenon. You want to pull up a chair? You want to pull
up a podcast?
Yeah.
We're recording for my show.
You want to?
Sure. Is there still talking?
Or just sit in this chair. I can sit on the couch right here.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Crap.
Just the wonder and awe.
Oh yeah, like so many aspects of the phenomenon are very dark, like the abduction stuff. So it seems like a weird thing to be talking about how you want to get back to that mystery, so like the curiosity and wonder of it. But it really is like if you look at Kenneth Arnold's sighting, which entailed being flying in a plane and seeing these objects skipping on water, you know, like they were skipping on water, like saucers on water. It's not until later that everything. It's not until a few years later that things start getting sort of put into this category of like scary paranormal events. Up until that point, I think people were genuinely like, what's going on? You know, like how interesting if there's something out there that we aren't aware of. And then over time, like the entire subject just becomes this scary horror story, which we see happen with Bigfoot too. Like that's the same things happen there. And I'm not saying there are aspects of this for sure that are super creepy and very unnerving, and we'll get into that. But I think if there's a quote unquote message to this, it's just like if you're into the subject, go look into it for yourself. Ignore all the personalities and the infighting.
Yeah, you got to get off Facebook.
The cult of celebrity that
sense
goes on.
Of wonder.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I mean, I think of just something that in one of the interviews we did yesterday with Dean Merchant, he was talking about how there were so many sightings of UFOs in this area that the ice cream truck would come through. There would be dozens of people watching. They would sell out of ice cream. They'd go back, refill. I mean, nobody there was thinking, oh, we're going to get abducted. This is scary. We're talking the 50s and 60s. There was just that sense of wonder.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw the first trailer from when you guys were out west with that sort of like campy music. I was like super excited for the project because it wasn't about these super creepy stories like you were saying. It was just, I'm hitting the table. I talk. I swing with the hands and I'm talking. But yeah, just it's like that sense of wonder. And I think we'll see that just, throughout these shoots, just kind of we're looking up. We're talking about events.
You can't come to some of these locations and not have that anyway, just because of the locations we're filming in are a massive part of the entire thing. I mean, it's almost like a road trip movie in a way.
With Tom Green?
With Tom Green, the movie Road Trip. Jason Eudis has joined us, by the way.
So you think?
But like, it isn't even down to solely like. It really seems to me coming into this as almost like a newbie to like the UFO world. I mean, I've always been interested in it. I was more into UFOs than I was Bigfoot starting out. But like coming into this as like, and seeing how the community interacts. I mean, it
can ruin you.
Yeah, like they go after each other, and that a big part of that is like people are defensive of their like standpoint or their work they've done or their offended or jealous by other people getting attention that they need to be getting. And
kind of got a taste for that during Invasion too.
Yeah.
Well, think about just the Twitter wars. I mean,
Yeah.
I know just from like seeing on Twitter, I'm like, I want nothing to do with all
Yeah.
this stuff. I thought Bigfoot was bad. Man, these
Yeah.
guys are like, it's constant at each other's throats.
Yeah.
So
So, like, for me, it's about, screw that. I, like, ignore all these, all the people that are out there fighting and getting into it. I get it. Like, a lot of them have been in this so long. Like, that's what's inevitably going to happen. But my goal with this was to turn the focus back on the people that are, like, the actual investigators, the witnesses, and like, we were talking about that when we were shooting in, like, Arizona and Vegas, was, like, what'll set this apart from everything else is focusing on people. Like, keep the focus on the people. Forget about all the not even to worry. Like don't even worry about trying to outdo the endless number of like TV documentaries about UFOs or independent documentaries. Like, just go and do what Small Town Monsters does.
Yeah.
Put the focus on the people. Go to some like really amazing locations. Find some really cool stories and tell a story that hopefully will be a great introduction to the subject for a lot of people, and also act as a, another chapter to the understanding of the phenomenon for a lot of people.
It's what gives it heart, I think.
Mm. Well, I think that's like always been what sets STM apart, is that like focus on the people and the emotional. I think the emotional side of what we do is what sort of stands out, makes it stand out from the rest. I don't know that, but it seems like we're the only ones that really can get like sappy with this stuff and have it not be ridiculous.
Well, we've heard from a few people throughout all of the shoot for this that we've done so far, East and West, that parts of their stories are just so unique. Things that I've never heard before or read about before when it comes to UFOs.
Yeah,
so.
like Gary and the cartoon-faced men.
Yeah. And I mean, I have never heard of such a thing. And I'm dying to ask Alex about his UFO encounter, but I promised that I would save it because he went to tell me. I'm like, no, we're going to interview you on camera, and everyone knows that I like to come from a genuine place of wonder when I'm interviewing somebody. So you guys will have to wait for that, as will I, till later. But today the plan is we're going to take a cable car ride pretty soon, right? To get some more shots and footage, drone footage. We've been droning. Alex and Seth have been droning a lot.
We drone a lot.
We drone on and on and on. Where have we hit? We've hit Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Georgia, New Hampshire, and Ohio. We started there. Well, I started with Seth and Adrian and Tommy in Florida. But we met everybody in Ohio, of course, and we will culminate in Ohio until next month when we go to Los Angeles.
Which should be the final on the trail of shoot. That should be the end of the whole thing. We'll
for UFOs.
Crossing our fingers. Yeah, for the UFO series. Crossing our fingers. That's the final shoot.
Can I just say, though, you want to do on the trail of ghosts or hauntings or whatever. Some of these Airbnbs, we've had some slightly interesting things going on that we actually hope was ghosts and not the creepy neighbor downstairs, shirtless with his, 6-pack of beer hanging downstairs. No, this was in Florida when he and Adrian had a little incident where
we woke up.
Both got woken up.
Yeah, we woke up in the middle of the night at different times. Adrian woke up separately, and all the stuff on the nightstand beside her bed had like fallen off the nightstand. She went back to bed, and then I woke up at 2 a.m. because the blinds, the like vertical blinds on the screen door in our room that led out onto the balcony, were all slamming into each other, like swaying, like when someone walks into them. They just all of a sudden, everything they all went crazy, and I got up and checked if there was something, because I thought maybe like one of my cases had fallen over and hit them. And they hadn't. They were just all swinging wildly at like 2 a.m. So we don't know. You could reach our balcony from the neighboring balcony. So then we're like, oh great, did someone like try to sneak into our Airbnb? So we don't know what happened there.
And then
maybe the only time we've had some sketchy things going on.
Yeah. And you had the dog man in your wall last night.
The dog man was waiting on the other side of my wall. dogman raccoons.
But then you and Adam heard somebody come into our house in Pennsylvania. The
Oh, that
farmhouse.
was genuinely creepy because that house is so old. It was built in the 1700s. And it was super cool. And it's at the base of the Chestnut Ridge. Or it's on the ridge. We were literally staying on the ridge. And we were in bed, and it was 5 a.m., and I'd been up since like 4:30. And I was laying there, and I was on my phone when it happened. I heard the screen door on this place, it's like, like you can very clearly hear it. I hear the screen door open, the back door close, and footsteps, like loud clomping footsteps, come across the kitchen below us. And I jump out of bed. I got Adam up. He was sound asleep. It's like 5:30, 5 o'clock. And I was like, dude, there's someone downstairs. I just heard him come in the back door. So we get up and we both go down there. No one. All the doors are locked. Everything's locked. Yeah.
It actually did. Adam found this creepy room next. It's not far from that back door.
Yeah.
He opens it. Very strong smell of like it's mostly paint smell or something or
Yeah.
cleaner. But it's got those industrial lights like down on the floor. And he's like, "This is the Dexter room, man. What the hell is going on in here?" It's like sheets of plastic.
Yeah. And the lot and like the guest book there had
Oh, yeah.
several entries talking about it was
Ghosts.
cool to hang out with the ghosts here, whatever else.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird too.
Yeah.
It was a creepy house though.
Definitely.
And then, like Zach mentioned last night, you posted the video on your Instagram, Seth, of the something in the wall.
Mhm.
Yeah, quite
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah, it was raccoons,
Friendly.
I'm assuming. Because it was
It was
weird.
loud. I was shocked.
But
At
Dude, it was... during the middle of the night, I fell right to sleep. And during the
time
middle
was
of the
that
night... Huh?
What time did that happen?
It was all night.
Oh, it was all night?
I thought it was just mine.
Oh.
Yeah, wow.
No, see, what happened is I fell right to sleep, and then they started moving around, and I heard it, but I was like in that like half sleep state, and I didn't fully wake up until about, it was probably like 4:30. I woke up, and I was like, what? I was going to get up and start getting people up, because I was freaking out.
was it by the mirror?
It's
like
it's
in
on the
between the
wall
two
between
rooms,
Shannon's
which is
room
weird.
and my room.
Did you hear it?
She never heard it.
I heard nothing.
What the heck?
So like it, if you go on my Instagram, you can hear it. But it was, they just were like skittering around in there, and they'd be in like one move, and then you'd hear them over here. Now some of it, I know, I'm pretty sure is you guys, because your room's right over mine.
Yeah.
So
You're sleeping in gurneys.
So like I have a video that you can hear. One of you got up, and I was actually filming around then. And you can tell the difference between the two, because the one's like super low along the wall, and the other's like on my ceiling and way louder. Like, yeah, there's something in the
Maybe they were like under, because it's kind of like
That's
elevated
possible.
in the
There was
back.
a little
I don't
door
know.
right by where I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Hobbit
And I
door in
opened
there.
it.
Oh shoot! Really?
Yeah.
Does
I
it go
opened
down?
it. There's no. It's just all.
Darn.
This house has some interesting
It's-
architecture. I mean, the fridge is like half outside.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Very, so there could be some little nooks and crannies for a
Yeah.
little dog man to sneak in.
We gotta go film, guys.
Arte and the cable cars.
I was in over my head with 8 seconds left in overtime.
I get it. I got the cable cars. Seth.
All right, guys. ITF out. See you later.
Well, I'm so-and-so. I was given this name by my parents. I've been to such and such a college. I've done these things in my profession. I produce a little biography. Buddha says, forget it. That's not true. That's some story. That's all gone. That's all past. I want to see the real you are now. Well, nobody knows who that is. Because we don't know ourselves except through listening to our echoes and consulting our memories. But then there's a real you, and that again leads us back to this question. Who are you? That is the real you. We shall see how they play with this exam by the koans to get you to come out of your shell and find out who you really are. after your funeral, you will suddenly become somebody different, living somewhere else. They will say reincarnation means this, that if you sitting here now are really convinced that you're the same person who walked in the door half an hour ago, you're being reincarnated. If you are liberated, you will understand that you're not. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. There is only the present. That's the only real you that there is. The Zen master Dogen put it in this way. He said, the spring does not become summer. First there is summer, and then there is spring. When you settle down in the train to read your newspaper and so on, you are not the same person who a little while ago left the platform. If you think you are linking your moments up in a chain. And this is what binds you to the wheel of birth and death. But when you know that every moment in which you are is the only moment, this comes into Zen. A master will say to somebody, get up and walk across the room. And he comes back and he says, where are your footprints? They've gone. So where are you? Who are you? When we are asked who we are, we usually give a kind of recitation of a history.